The last employee had just said goodbye when Adam Cole closed his eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of the silence return to the mansion. Through the wide office windows, the neighborhood's decorative lights twinkled in the New York night, a reminder that it was Christmas Eve. He ran his fingers through his dark hair and sighed, undoing the top button of his impeccably starched shirt. He opened the drawer of his mahogany desk and pulled out a bottle of imported whiskey, his only planned companion for the night. If you enjoy emotional stories like this, please subscribe to our channel and comment with where you're watching from. It really helps our work. "Excuse me, Mr. Cole." The soft voice came from the slightly open door, startling him slightly. "May I check if you need anything else before I go?" Adam looked up to find Chloe Miller, the mansion's new staff member, standing at the door with her hands clasped in front of her. Her posture was professional, but there was something in her brown eyes that conveyed a genuine kindness, something rare in the circle of people he associated with. "That won't be necessary, Chloe. You can go home. Merry Christmas." He tried to sound natural, as if this were just another ordinary night, as if the loneliness wasn't eating him alive inside. Instead of nodding and leaving, like everyone else, she lingered at the door for a hesitant moment. Adam noticed her gaze fall on the bottle on the desk, his suit jacket tossed over a chair, the festive lights reflected in the windows, and then on Adam himself, with his tired eyes trying to hide the emptiness. "Are you spending the night alone, sir?" The words escaped her almost in a whisper, and her eyes immediately widened, as if surprised by her own boldness. Adam managed a diplomatic smile, the same one he used in business meetings when he wanted to end an uncomfortable conversation. "I have some reports to review." The quiet of the night is perfect for it. The lie sounded weak even to himself. There were no reports, only the silence, the whiskey, and maybe an old movie on the giant television he rarely turned on. Chloe nodded, but she didn't move. She bit her lower lip, as if fighting an internal battle. Adam waited for her to say goodnight, following the script of all other nights, all other Christmases. However, something different happened. "Why don't you come over for dinner?" The words tumbled out quickly, surprising them both. The young woman blushed instantly but held his gaze. "I mean, no one should be alone on Christmas. I live in a simple apartment I rented when I started working here. But the food is good." Adam blinked, genuinely stunned. In his 42 years, no employee had ever crossed that line. For a second, he felt the familiar irritation rise, the same he felt when someone tried to breach the boundaries he had so carefully established in his life. But something in her eyes disarmed him. There wasn't the calculating glint he recognized in the women who approached him at social events, nor the veiled interest in favors or advantages. "That's very kind, Chloe, but it wouldn't be appropriate," he finally replied, keeping his voice neutral. "Enjoy your evening with your family." "I live alone too," she shrugged, a gesture surprisingly relaxed for someone who minutes before seemed so careful with every word. "I moved from Virginia not too long ago. I don't know many people in New York yet." The revelation caught Adam by surprise. In her month of working at the mansion, Chloe had always been efficient and discreet, never sharing personal details. For some reason, he had pictured her going home to a house full of life, perhaps with elderly parents or younger siblings. The image of her alone on Christmas in New York didn't fit the picture he had formed. Even so, "I appreciate it, but I prefer to stay," he replied, more curtly than he intended, retreating into the formality that had always protected him. Chloe nodded, her face softening in understanding. "Of course, I'm sorry for the intrusion." She turned to leave, but paused with her hand on the doorknob. "If you change your mind, I'm at 87 Juniper Avenue in Queens. It's the yellow building with a jasmine plant by the entrance." And then she was gone, leaving Adam with a strange sense of emptiness, different from his usual loneliness. He picked up his glass of whiskey and walked to the window, watching the dark sky where a few stars stubbornly shone, despite the city's light pollution. From his home high on the Upper East Side, he could see part of the city stretching out below, a carpet of lights holding millions of unfolding stories. How many Christmas dinners were happening at that very moment? How many families gathered, friends toasting, children anxious for presents? Adam hadn't celebrated Christmas since he lost his parents almost 20 years ago. Early in his career, while building what would become one of the country's largest construction firms, he used work as an excuse to avoid the festivities. Over time, loneliness became a habit, a comfort zone. His rare attempts at serious relationships always ended the same way. Women who saw his assets, not the person. He took a sip of whiskey, feeling the liquid burn his throat as he watched a couple crossing the street below, holding hands, likely heading to a celebration. The man carried a bag of gifts, and the woman was laughing at something he'd said. Such a common scene, so inaccessible. The phone rang, pulling him from his thoughts. It was Mark, his business partner for 15 years. Hey, Adam, still time for you to swing by. Megan made that turkey recipe you like, and the kids won't stop asking about their godfather. Adam smiled faintly. Every year, the same invitation, the same polite refusal. Thanks, Mark, but I'm going to stay in tonight. We'll talk tomorrow. One of these days, you're going to have to stop hiding in that mansion, you know? Mark's voice carried a mix of concern and resignation. Anyway, Merry Christmas, my friend. After hanging up, Adam returned to the window. A light rain had begun to fall, reflecting the city's colorful lights. This wasn't how he had imagined his life at 42. Professional success had come hand in hand with a personal emptiness that no material possession could fill. Chloe's face returned to his mind. The unexpected invitation, the honest eyes, the yellow building with the jasmine plant. It was absurd to even consider the idea. Him, Adam Cole, having dinner at an employee's house on Christmas. The tabloids would have a field day if they found out. And what interest could a woman like her have in someone like him, besides the obvious? But then he remembered the way she had looked at him. Not as the millionaire, the boss, the coveted bachelor from the gossip columns, but as someone who deserved not to be alone on Christmas night. The clock read 8:47 when Adam, on an impulse he couldn't explain, grabbed his car keys. He thought about changing out of his suit into something more casual, but feared the hesitation would make him change his mind. He left through the garage, ignoring the surprised look from the security guard when he announced he'd be driving himself. Traffic was light, as expected on Christmas Eve. The streets, decorated with lights and ornaments, were almost deserted, except for a few latecomers doing last-minute shopping. Adam drove mechanically, following the app's directions to Queens. As he moved away from the affluent neighborhoods, the landscape gradually changed. Luxury high-rises gave way to simpler buildings, narrower streets, a different New York from the one he was used to. The rain had gotten heavier when he finally reached Juniper Avenue. Adam slowed down, looking for number 87. Suddenly, he felt ridiculous. What was he doing here? What would he say when she opened the door? How would he explain his presence, his inexplicable impulse? He was about to turn around when he spotted the yellow building with the jasmine plant. It was small but well kept. Colorful lights decorated the front window, and he could see a small Christmas tree through the slightly open curtains. He parked his imported car a few feet away, completely out of place in the neighborhood. He sat for a few minutes, hands still on the wheel, torn between the urge to leave and a curiosity he couldn't explain. Through the window, he could see a silhouette moving. Chloe probably preparing her solitary dinner. The image stirred something inside him, a kind of recognition, a reflection. He took a deep breath, turned off the engine and got out of the car. The rain was falling harder now, soaking his Italian suit in seconds. He walked to the small green door, mentally rehearsing what he would say, as if he were about to conduct the most important negotiation of his career. Before he could change his mind, he rang the bell. From inside, he heard footsteps approaching. "Who is it?" The familiar voice came from behind the door. "It's me, Adam," he replied, feeling strangely vulnerable. "I changed my mind." The door opened, and Chloe's face first showed surprise, then a genuine smile that lit up her eyes. She was wearing simple jeans and a red sweater, very different from the discreet uniform she wore at the mansion. The aroma of home cooking escaped from inside, bringing back memories Adam didn't know he still had. "You're standing in the rain," she exclaimed, opening the door wider. "Come in, you'll catch a cold." Adam hesitated for a second, as if crossing that threshold meant crossing an invisible boundary in his life. The apartment was small, cozy, with walls painted in light colors and simple but careful decoration. A modest Christmas tree occupied a corner of the living room, decorated with colorful ornaments that looked like they had been chosen one by one, not bought in a set like the impersonal decorations that adorned his mansion. "Sorry to show up like this," he said, feeling more out of place than ever. "I should have called." "If you had called, I wouldn't have believed you," she replied with surprising casualness. closing the door behind him. "Stay here a moment." Chloe disappeared down a hallway and returned with a clean towel, which she offered him without ceremony. "Dry your hair or you'll get pneumonia. And that suit. I have a robe that might fit while I dry your clothes." The situation was so unusual that Adam almost laughed. He, who owned a wardrobe with dozens of custom-made Italian suits, was about to wear a borrowed robe in an employee's apartment. "Don't worry about it," he said, running the towel through his hair. "I'm fine like this." "As you wish, but at least take off the jacket." "Can I dry it a bit?" She held out her hand, and Adam, after a moment's hesitation, handed over the soaked jacket. "Please sit. Want some wine? It's not imported like yours, but it's good. I got it from my old boss before I moved to New York." Adam nodded, watching her as she hung the jacket on a hanger near a small space heater. There was a natural grace in her movements, a quiet confidence that contrasted with how she carried herself at the mansion. Here on her own turf, she was a different person. Freer, more authentic. "I was making dinner when you arrived," she continued, heading to the small open-plan kitchen. "Nothing too sophisticated. Shepherd's pie, my grandmother's recipe. It's a tradition back home." It was... A note of melancholy passed quickly through her voice, soon replaced by a brighter tone, as she returned with 2 glasses of red wine. "You said you moved from Virginia," Adam commented, accepting the glass she offered. "How long ago?" 6 months, Chloe replied, sitting in the armchair opposite him. "I was born in a small town in Virginia. Have you heard of it? It's a historic place." Adam shook his head. He knew Paris, New York, Tokyo, but he had never visited the historic towns of Virginia. "It's a beautiful place," she continued, her eyes softening with the memory. "Cobblestone streets, colonial houses, old churches. My grandmother had a small inn there. She raised me after my parents passed." "I'm sorry," Adam said, realizing that despite her working in his house for a month, he knew absolutely nothing about her life. "What happened?" "Car accident when I was 7, Chloe replied, taking a sip of wine. "They were driving back from Richmond on a rainy night, like tonight. A truck lost control on the highway." She paused, but her face showed no self-pity, only a serene acceptance. "My grandmother always said that life gives and life takes, and the secret is to value what we have while we have it." Adam felt a strange connection to those words. He, who had always measured success by acquisitions, more properties, more contracts, more money in the bank, rarely stopped to value what he already had. "And what brought you to New York?" he asked, genuinely interested. "My grandmother passed away at the beginning of the year," Chloe explained. "The inn had debts I couldn't pay, and I had to sell it. I decided to start over somewhere no one knew me, where I could build something new." She smiled faintly. New York seemed big enough for that. As they talked, Chloe occasionally got up to check the shepherd's pie in the oven. Adam watched her, noticing how she seemed perfectly at ease in his presence now, so different from the discreet employee he knew. There was a dignity in her simplicity that he admired. "What about your parents?" she asked suddenly, returning from the kitchen. "Are they still alive?" "No," Adam replied, the familiar pang of pain softened by time. "My father passed when I was 22, heart attack. My mother went 3 years later." He rarely talked about it. "It was right after I took over the family construction business. It was just the 3 of us, no siblings, no close relatives." "That must have been difficult," Chloe commented, her eyes reflecting genuine understanding. Adam shrugged, uncomfortable with the sudden vulnerability. "I dove into work. I turned a medium-sized company into one of the biggest in the country." His tone came out more defensive than he intended, as if trying to justify something. "Impressive," she said without irony. "But it must be lonely at the top, isn't it?" The question, so simple and direct, hit Adam like a punch. No one in his social circle would dare make such a personal observation. Everyone was too busy admiring his wealth or competing with it. Sometimes, he admitted, surprising himself with his own honesty. "But it's a choice. Success demands sacrifices." "So does happiness," Chloe replied, getting up. "Come on, dinner is ready." In the small dining area, the table was already set with a white embroidered tablecloth and simple but elegant plates. A lit candle in the center created a cozy atmosphere. Next to the main dish of shepherd's pie, there was a bowl of rice, roasted potatoes, and a colorful salad. "Nothing too elaborate," Chloe said with a slight note of apology. "I hope you like it." Adam, used to dinners at Michelin-starred restaurants with endless tasting menus, felt his stomach growl at the familiar, comforting aroma. It looks incredible. As they served themselves, the rain continued outside, creating a curtain of water that isolated the small apartment from the rest of the world. Somehow Adam felt protected there, free from the expectations and appearances he had to maintain. "So what's it like being Adam Cole?" Chloe asked, after a few minutes of enjoying the food in comfortable silence. "What do you mean?" he asked, intrigued by the question. "You know, the successful businessman, the most eligible bachelor in New York according to that magazine I saw at the salon." She smiled, but there was no malice in her words, just genuine curiosity. Adam almost choked on his wine. "You read that article? It was hard to miss. Your photo took up half the page." She tilted her head, analyzing him. "Although you look more real now, sitting in my kitchen with wet hair than in that polished photo." Adam felt his face heat up slightly. "Those articles are ridiculous. My public relations department insists on them." "And why do you let them?" The question was simple but deep. "It's part of the game," he replied, realizing how empty the justification sounded in this context. "Visibility brings business. Business brings money. Money brings happiness," she completed, raising an eyebrow. "Security," Adam corrected after a pause. "I never want to go through what I went through when my father passed, with the company on the verge of collapse and creditors at the door." Chloe nodded, understanding. "I get it. Fear can be a great motivator." She paused. "But it can also be a prison." The observation, said without judgment, made Adam reflect. Indeed, how much of his life was driven not by desire but by fear. Fear of losing control, fear of failure, fear of opening up and being rejected or used for his money, as had happened so many times before. "What about you?" he asked, shifting the focus. "Aren't you afraid of being alone in a big city like New York?" "Of course I am," Chloe answered honestly, "but I've learned that life is too short to let fear dictate all our choices. My grandmother used to say we should do at least one thing that scares us every day." She smiled, looking directly at him. "Today, inviting my boss to dinner was that thing." Adam couldn't help but smile in return, and me accepting the invitation. For a moment, something passed between them. A silent recognition, a connection that went beyond boss and employee. They were just two people, alone on Christmas night, sharing not just a meal, but pieces of their stories, fearless vulnerabilities. Outside, the rain gradually subsided, and the distant sound of fireworks announced the approach of midnight. Adam looked at his watch, surprised to see how much time had passed. In his mansion, he'd probably be on his second or third glass of whiskey, distractedly watching some show on TV, counting the hours until he could justify going to bed. "It's Christmas," Chloe said, also noticing the time. She raised her glass. "A toast." Adam raised his glass, studying the face in front of him. The expressive eyes, the sincere smile, the total lack of affectation. In a world where he always had to calculate intentions and distrust smiles, Chloe was like a breath of fresh air. "To new beginnings," he proposed, surprising himself with his own words. "To new beginnings," she agreed, clinking her glass against his. In that moment, with the sound of fireworks in the distance and the welcoming warmth of that simple apartment, Adam felt something he hadn't experienced in a long time. Hope. As if a door he didn't even know was closed had suddenly been opened, revealing possibilities he hadn't dared to imagine. They talked late into the night, about books, about dreams, about the small joys that make life meaningful. Chloe spoke of her childhood in Virginia, about helping her grandmother at the inn, about the tourists she met and the stories they brought. Adam found himself sharing memories he hadn't revisited in years. The time he used to fish with his father upstate, before business consumed everything. The taste of the peaches his mother grew in the backyard. The Christmas nights when they were still a complete family. The rain started up again with intensity around 1 in the morning. Chloe looked at the window, worried. "It's really coming down. Maybe you should wait for it to pass before heading home." Adam knew he should refuse, that staying would be crossing another invisible line. But the thought of leaving this warm, welcoming refuge to return to his empty mansion seemed unbearable at that moment. "If it's not an imposition," he said finally. "I have a guest room," Chloe replied, getting up. "It's simple, but it's clean." And the next morning would bring with it new questions, new possibilities, and the beginning of a transformation that neither of them could have foreseen. Christmas morning dawned clear in New York, the sky washed clean by the night's rain. Adam woke up disoriented for a moment, the unfamiliar ceiling above him causing initial confusion. He sat up in bed, memories of the previous night returning in flashes. The dinner at Chloe's, the conversation that stretched late into the night, the wine. The aroma of fresh coffee wafted in, along with another smell he didn't immediately identify, something sweet being cooked. He got up, pulling on his dress pants from the night before. His clothes had been washed and dried during the night, folded neatly on a nearby chair. He walked into the small living room, still processing the strangeness of the situation. Chloe was in the kitchen, her back to him, stirring something on the stove. She was wearing simple sweatpants and a white t-shirt, her hair pulled into a messy bun. She was humming a song Adam didn't recognize. "Good morning," he said, feeling strangely shy. She turned, smiling. "Good morning. Sleep well?" "Surprisingly well," he answered honestly. He couldn't remember the last time he had slept so deeply. "Good, I'm making French toast. Oh, it's a Christmas morning tradition back in Virginia." "Want some coffee while you wait?" Adam nodded, watching her move deftly around the small but organized kitchen. There was something mesmerizing about the simplicity of her movements, the complete absence of affectation. "Your phone rang a few times," she commented, pouring him a cup of strong coffee. "It's over on the small table." Adam picked up the device, seeing a series of notifications. Automatic holiday greetings from professional contacts, a few from Mark asking how he was, and several missed calls from Jessica, his personal assistant. Typical. Even on Christmas, company matters didn't rest. "Trouble?" Chloe asked, noticing his expression. "Nothing urgent," he replied, silencing the phone and setting it aside. It was Christmas after all. Whatever it was could wait a few hours. They sat down for breakfast at the small table. The French toast, golden and dusted with cinnamon and sugar, brought Adam memories of his childhood, of distant Christmases when his parents were still alive. "This is delicious," he said after the first bite. "My mother used to make something similar." Chloe's face lit up at the compliment. "It's my grandmother's recipe. She used to say food has the power to bring back good memories." They ate in silence for a few minutes, a comfortable silence that surprised Adam. Normally, silences bothered him. Here, however, the silence had an almost meditative quality. "Do you have plans for today?" Chloe asked eventually. The question caught Adam off guard. He had no plans. Christmas was just another day in his empty personal calendar. "Actually, no," he admitted. "I usually spend the day reviewing projects, getting ahead on work." Chloe watched him over the rim of her coffee cup, her eyes revealing a mix of curiosity and something that looked like compassion, but without the pity he so despised. "What about you?" He returned the question. "I was thinking of taking a walk in Central Park," she replied. "They say it's beautiful, decorated for Christmas, and I still don't really know the city." She paused, seeming to consider something. Then she added, "You could come if you want. I mean, if you really don't have other plans." The invitation hung between them, loaded with possibilities. Adam felt a familiar hesitation, the invisible barrier he kept between his professional and personal life, the fear of being recognized in public with an employee, the inevitable speculation that would arise. And yet, the prospect of spending more time with Chloe was strangely appealing. There was something about her that intrigued him, that made him want to know more, understand more. "That sounds like a great idea," he finally replied, surprising himself. "But I need to stop by my place first to change." Her smile in response was genuine, with no trace of triumph or calculation, just pure satisfaction, as if she truly enjoyed his company. It was a type of reaction Adam hadn't experienced in years. An hour later, after dropping Chloe off with a promise to pick her up shortly, Adam walked into his mansion on the Upper East Side. The contrast between the two environments couldn't have been more stark. The vast impersonal spaces, the magazine-perfect decor, the complete lack of human warmth. For the first time, he saw his own home through different eyes, realizing how much this place, despite all its luxury, lacked a soul. As he changed, opting for jeans and a casual shirt, something he rarely wore, Adam tried to process what was happening. In less than 24 hours, his carefully constructed routine had been completely upended. He, who kept relationships in strict compartments, professional on one side, personal on the other, was about to spend Christmas Day with an employee he barely knew until the night before. The most disturbing part was how much it didn't disturb him. On the contrary, he felt lighter, more present than he had in years. His phone rang again. Jessica once more. After a moment's hesitation, he answered. "Sorry to bother you on the holiday, Adam," came his assistant's efficient voice, but an issue came up with the Alameda project. "The Arab investors want a video conference today. They say it's urgent." The old Adam would have cancelled any personal plans without batting an eye. Business always came first, but something had changed. "Schedule it for tomorrow morning," he replied firmly. "It's Christmas, Jessica. Even the Arabs can wait 24 hours. The silence on the other end of the line reflected his assistant's shock. In 15 years working together, he had never put a personal engagement ahead of business. "Is everything all right, Adam?" she finally asked, genuinely concerned. "Everything is great," he replied, surprised to realize it was true. "Merry Christmas, Jessica. Take the rest of the day off." He hung up before she could protest, feeling a strange satisfaction. A small rebellion perhaps, but a significant one. As he was leaving, he ran into Sam, the gardener who came twice a week to tend to the mansion's extensive grounds. "Mr. Cole?" "Here on Christmas?" the man asked, visibly surprised. "I thought you'd be traveling." "Change of plans," Adam replied. "And shouldn't you be with your family today?" Sam looked down. "Well, Miss Jessica asked me to come check on the new palm trees. Said you were worried about them after last night's rain." Adam felt a pang of annoyance. It was the kind of thing his assistant did regularly, anticipating his worries, solving problems before they even became problems. "The palms are fine. Sam," he said, placing a hand on the employee's shoulder, "go home, be with your family, and tell Miss Jessica I sent you." The gardener's face lit up with a smile of relief and gratitude. "Thank you so much, Mr. Cole. Merry Christmas." Adam watched the man hurry away. Such a simple gesture and such obvious happiness. When was the last time he had made someone smile like that? As he drove back to Chloe's apartment, Adam felt different, as if an invisible film had been removed from his eyes. As he parked in front of the yellow building, he saw Chloe waiting on the stoop, wearing a simple sundress and carrying a straw bag. Her face lit up when she saw him, a genuine smile that stirred something in Adam's chest. "I thought maybe you wouldn't come back," she admitted as she got into the car. "Why?" he asked, intrigued. "I don't know. Maybe you'd realize you had more important things to do than spend Christmas with your employee." There was a touch of self-deprecation in her voice, but no resentment. Adam looked at her for a moment before answering. "I can't think of anything more important today," he said with a sincerity that surprised him. The smile Chloe gave him in response was like a sunrise, gradual, lighting up her eyes before reaching her lips. And in that moment, Adam knew he was in trouble, because that smile, that disarming honesty, that total lack of pretense, all of it drew him in a way he couldn't explain or resist. Central Park was surprisingly peaceful on that Christmas morning. Families were spread out on the lawns, children were testing out new bikes and skates. Couples walked hand in hand under the mild sun that followed the night's rain. An atmosphere of contentment hung in the air, as if the city had momentarily forgotten its usual hurry. Adam and Chloe walked side by side, maintaining a respectful distance. To any observer, they would be just two acquaintances enjoying the holiday. But something had changed between them since the night before. An invisible proximity, a silent complicity that didn't need words. "This is my first time in Central Park since I moved to New York," Chloe commented, watching the lake where colorful paddle boats drifted lazily. "It's even more beautiful than in the pictures." Adam realized that despite living in the city for decades, he rarely appreciated its public spaces. The park was minutes from his home, but he couldn't remember the last time he had visited without a specific purpose. "I come here to run sometimes," he said, though the last time had been over a year ago, "but never like this, just to be." Chloe smiled as if she understood perfectly. "Sometimes we forget to just be, don't we? Always doing, running, planning the next step." The observation, so simple and accurate, struck Adam. It was exactly how he lived, always focused on the next goal, the next achievement, without ever stopping to appreciate the journey or what he had already accomplished. They passed a popcorn vendor, and Chloe stopped, inhaling the aroma with evident pleasure. "I love park popcorn," she confessed with an almost childlike smile. 2, please, Adam requested, pulling out his wallet. You don't have to, I can, Chloe began, but he cut her off with a gentle gesture. Please, it's Christmas. They walked on with their bags of popcorn, the silence between them comfortable. Adam discreetly watched Chloe's profile, the way her eyes lit up at small details, the naturalness of her movements, the complete absence of artificiality. Are you analyzing me, Mr. Cole? She asked suddenly, turning to face him with a playful smile. Adam felt his face heat up slightly, caught in the act. Sorry, and please call me Adam. Adam, she repeated as if testing the sound. You know what's strange? I've worked in your house for a month, but I feel like I only really met you last night. The observation was accurate. At the mansion, he was Mr. Cole, the distant, formal boss, always busy with calls and meetings. I feel the same way, he admitted. In fact, I don't usually open up to people like this. I noticed, Chloe replied, no judgment in her voice. It must be hard to trust when you have so much to lose. Again, her perception surprised him. That was exactly it. The constant fear of being valued only for his wealth, of having his words and gestures analyzed for advantages, of never knowing if the interest was genuine or calculated. You're very observant, he commented as they approached an empty bench by the lake. They sat watching a family of ducks glide peacefully across the water, the mother and father in front, 5 ducklings in a neat row behind, an image of simplicity and natural harmony that contrasted with the complexity of human life. I worked as a receptionist at my grandmother's inn since I was 15, Chloe explained. You learn to read people when you have to anticipate their needs. Some guests wanted conversation, others silence. Some needed tour suggestions, others just wanted to be left alone. She smiled at the memory. My grandmother used to say that understanding what people need even before they know it is an art form. She sounds like she was a wise woman, Adam commented. The wisest I've ever known, Chloe agreed, a note of longing in her voice. You know what she always said? True wealth isn't in what we own, but in what fills us. The words echoed in Adam like a distant bell. What truly filled him? His real estate empire, the bank accounts, the luxury cars, the international trips. None of it seemed significant at this moment. What are you thinking about? Chloe asked, noticing his contemplative expression. Adam hesitated, but then decided to be honest. About how I've built my entire life around acquiring things, without ever stopping to question if they were the right things. She nodded, understanding. It's never too late to ask those questions. A sudden gust of wind rustled the trees, making Chloe cross her arms, slightly chilled in her light dress. Are you cold? Adam asked, immediately taking off the light jacket he was wearing. A little, she admitted, accepting the jacket with a grateful smile. Thank you. The gesture, so simple and old-fashioned, a man offering his jacket to a woman, gave Adam a strangely comforting feeling. It was an act of genuine chivalry, devoid of the complications that usually accompanied his encounters. There were no hidden expectations, power plays, or calculations of interest. Just 2 human beings sharing a moment. The morning turned into afternoon as they walked through the park, talking about everything and nothing. Books they had read, places they'd like to visit, small childhood stories. Adam found himself talking about memories he hadn't shared in years. The taste of the peaches his mother grew in their backyard, the afternoons fishing with his father upstate, the day he got his first computer and decided he would build something great. And you did, Chloe observed. It must be an incredible feeling to watch something grow like that from your own hands. There was genuine admiration in her voice, but without the fawning awe Adam was used to when he spoke of his success. It was as if Chloe appreciated his story not for the material result, but for the human effort behind it. Sometimes I wonder if it was worth it, he admitted, the words slipping out before he could stop them. All the work, the time invested, the sleepless nights, only to end up alone in an empty mansion. As soon as the words were out, Adam regretted them. They sounded like self-pity, something he detested. But Chloe didn't seem to take it that way. Maybe the mansion is just waiting to be filled, she suggested, her voice soft. With laughter, memories, people who truly matter. Their eyes met, and for a tense, electric moment, Adam felt an almost irresistible urge to touch her, to hold her hand, to caress her face, to feel the texture of her hair. He held back, aware of the complexities of the situation. She was his employee. They had only truly known each other for less than 24 hours. And yet he felt as if he had known her a lifetime. The moment was broken by the sound of his phone. Adam hesitated, but eventually checked the screen. It was Mark again. With a sigh, he silenced the device and put it back in his pocket. "Work?" Chloe asked, understanding. "My partner," Adam replied, probably wondering why I refused a video conference today. Chloe's eyebrows rose in surprise. "You refused work today? For me?" Her tone wasn't one of vanity or triumph, just genuine surprise. "Yes," Adam admitted, "and it was the easiest decision I've made in years." The smile she gave him in response warmed something inside him that had been cold for a very long time. The afternoon wore on. The sun began to dip lower, and families started leaving the park for their Christmas dinners. Adam realized he didn't want the day to end, that he wasn't ready to return to the reality of their separate lives. He, the powerful businessman, she, the discreet employee. "Are you hungry?" he asked, realizing they had spent hours with only popcorn and a shared bottle of water. "They're little," Chloe admitted. "I think it's time to head home. I have leftovers from last night's shepherd's pie." She paused, hesitant. "Would you like to have dinner with me again, to complete the Christmas holiday?" The question hung between them, heavy with implicit meaning. It wasn't just an invitation for another meal, but one to prolong this bubble they had created. Outside of time and space, Adam knew he should refuse. Go back to his mansion, retake control of his carefully organized life, file this experience under holiday exception, and move on. It was the sensible thing to do, the safe, expected thing. "I'd love to," he replied instead, feeling a freedom he hadn't experienced in years. "But this time I'm bringing dessert." Chloe's face lit up with a smile that made Adam's heart race, and he realized with sudden clarity that he was stepping into uncharted waters. The days between Christmas and New Year's passed in a kind of alternate reality for Adam and Chloe. Officially, they maintained their positions. He, the busy entrepreneur, she, the efficient employee who managed the mansion. But behind the scenes, a quiet transformation was taking place. Adam cut his work schedule to the bare minimum, delegating meetings he once would have considered unmissable. He invented excuses to pass through the kitchen when he knew Chloe would be there, finding small pretexts to talk with her, an opinion on the decor, a question about some household arrangement that had never mattered to him before. Chloe, in turn, discreetly prolonged her tasks at the mansion. She left a book she was reading accidentally visible, creating opportunities for conversation. She prepared dishes from her hometown in Virginia that were leftover and offered them to Adam, establishing moments of connection that went beyond their professional relationship. Neither of them openly mentioned what was happening, as if naming the growing closeness might break the spell. But the exchanged glances, the restrained smiles, the conversations that stretched longer than necessary, all of it signaled a mutual attraction that was growing daily. On New Year's Eve, as Adam was reviewing contracts in his office, he heard a soft knock on the door. Chloe entered, carrying a tray with coffee. "I thought you might need a break," she said, placing the tray on his desk. "You've been working since early this morning." Adam smiled, pushing the papers aside. "Thank you. I actually did need a break." A comfortable silence settled between them as Chloe poured the coffee. Adam watched her precise movements, the natural grace she possessed even in the simplest tasks. For the past few days, he'd found himself thinking about her constantly, wondering her reaction to a book he'd read, wanting to share an interesting piece of news, simply craving the sound of her voice. "Do you have plans for tonight?" he finally asked, trying to sound casual. For the countdown, Chloe hesitated for a moment, a slight frown of worry appearing between her brows. "Actually, no. I thought I'd watch the fireworks over the city on TV." "Alone?" The question slipped out before Adam could stop it. "The few friends I've made so far already had plans," she replied with a small shrug, accepting the situation without self-pity. Adam took a deep breath, gathering the courage for what he was about to propose. "I have an invitation to the party at the City Club. It's a charity event the company sponsors every year." He paused, studying her reaction. "I usually go alone, make the necessary appearances, and head home before midnight. But this year, well, I'd like you to accompany me." The surprise on Chloe's face was evident. Her eyes widened slightly, her lips parted in a small, silent "oh." "As your employee?" she asked, cautious. "As my guest," he corrected gently. "My date for the evening." Chloe looked down at the cup she was holding, visibly processing the invitation and its implications. When she looked up again, there was a mix of emotions on her face. Joy, hesitation, and something that looked almost like fear. "Your world is very different from mine, Adam," she said finally. "Those people, I don't know if I'd fit in. I haven't fit in there for years," he confessed with a small wry smile. "I only show up because it's expected. But this year," he paused, searching for the right words. "This year could be different. We could face it together." Her eyes softened, and Adam saw the exact moment she made her decision, even before she spoke. "All right, but I don't have anything appropriate to wear to an event like that." "That's easily solved," he replied, feeling a wave of relief and anticipation. "I know a few shops that open specially for clients on occasions like this. I can make some calls." "No," Chloe interrupted, firm but gentle. "I appreciate it, but I prefer to choose something I can afford myself. It might not be designer, but I promise it will be worthy." Adam nodded, respecting her independence, though a part of him wanted to shower her with gifts, to give her everything she deserved and more. But it was exactly this integrity, this refusal to take advantage of his position, that made Chloe so different from anyone else he'd known. "I'm sure you'll look perfect," he said simply. "Can I pick you up at 9? She nodded with a smile that lit up her whole face. At 9. Promptly at 9 o'clock, Adam parked his car in front of the yellow building in Queens. He was wearing a tuxedo, as the event's protocol demanded, but he felt strangely nervous, a feeling he hadn't experienced on a date in years. He rang the bell, adjusting his bow tie as he waited. When the door opened, Adam felt the air leave his lungs. Chloe was stunning. She wore a long navy blue dress with a slight shimmer, simple but elegant, which perfectly highlighted her curves without being vulgar. Her hair, usually tied back at work, fell in soft waves over her shoulders. Her makeup was light, just enough to enhance her natural features. "You look beautiful," he said, the words coming out almost as a reverent whisper. A light blush colored Chloe's cheeks. "Thank you. I found this dress on clearance at the mall. I hope it's appropriate." "It's perfect," Adam assured her, offering his arm. "Ready?" The drive to the City Club was filled with light conversation, though Adam could feel Chloe's growing tension as they got closer. When they handed the car to the valet, he squeezed her hand briefly. "Hey, it's okay. They're just people." Chloe smiled, grateful for the encouragement. "Very rich and influential people, and many of them are as boring as the financial news," he completed, drawing a laugh from her. As they entered the club's main ballroom, luxuriously decorated for the occasion, Adam felt the eyes turn to them. It wasn't unusual for him to arrive with a date at events, but they were usually models or well-known socialites. Chloe, with her natural beauty and elegant simplicity, stood out from the standard, and that would start talk. Adam Cole. The shrill voice of Victoria Davenport, one of the city's top socialites, cut through the air. "What a surprise to see you with a date this year. Aren't you going to introduce us?" Victoria approached, followed by her usual group of friends, all visibly curious. Adam felt Chloe tense slightly beside him, but her posture remained straight, dignified. "Victoria, this is Chloe Miller." "Chloe, this is Victoria Davenport, president of the New Horizons Foundation." "A pleasure," Chloe said with impeccable politeness, extending her hand. Victoria accepted the handshake, her eyes appraising Chloe from head to toe with poorly disguised curiosity. "Miller? I don't recall the name. Which family are you from, dear?" The question, seemingly innocent, carried all the arrogance of old New York money. Adam felt a wave of irritation, but before he could intervene, Chloe answered calmly. "I'm from a small town in Virginia." "My family isn't known in New York, Mrs. Davenport." Victoria raised her perfectly drawn eyebrows. "Ah, the countryside. How charming. And how did you meet our Adam?" The possessive way Victoria referred to him did not go unnoticed by Adam, who was preparing to step in when Mark, his partner, approached with obvious relief. "Adam, you finally made it. We need to talk about that proposal from the Chinese." Turning to Chloe, he broke into a genuine smile. "And you must be the famous Chloe. Adam has been talking a lot about you." Adam shot a warning look at his friend, who just winked discreetly in response. "It's a pleasure to meet you," Chloe replied, visibly more relaxed at Mark's approach. "The pleasure is all mine. After hearing so much about you, I was curious to meet the woman who managed to make my friend here refuse a video conference on Christmas. Mark laughed, ignoring the death glare Adam was sending him. A video conference on Christmas? Victoria repeated, her eyes narrowing with renewed interest. Adam never refuses work commitments. You must have a special power, dear. The condescending tone made Chloe straighten her shoulders almost imperceptibly. I believe even the busiest men deserve a break, Mrs. Davenport, especially on Christmas. The reply, polite but firm, visibly surprised Victoria, whose smile faltered for an instant. Well, if you'll excuse us, Adam intervened, placing a hand gently on Chloe's back. We just arrived, and I'd like to show Chloe the ballroom. As they walked away, Adam leaned in slightly to whisper, You were incredible. I was terrified, Chloe confessed with a small smile. I don't think she liked me. Victoria doesn't like anyone she can't use for her own benefit, Adam replied, guiding her to the bar. Don't worry about her. The night proceeded with introductions, superficial conversations, and curious glances. Adam noticed how Chloe, after the initial tension, adapted with surprising naturalness to the environment. She didn't try to impress or pretend to be something she wasn't. She remained authentic, interested, genuine. And that was precisely what drew people to her, even the most skeptical ones. As midnight approached, Adam led Chloe to the club's terrace, where they would have a prime view of the fireworks that would light up the New York sky. The space was less crowded, with just a few scattered couples seeking a quiet moment before the turning of the year. Is it as bad as you imagined? He asked, handing her a glass of champagne. Chloe smiled, accepting the drink. Actually, no. Some people were genuinely nice. Your friend Mark and his wife, Megan especially. They're good people, Adam agreed. Rare in this circle. It's strange, Chloe continued, gazing at the illuminated city below them. All these people with so much money, so much power, and yet so many of them seem so empty. Adam followed her gaze to the New York skyline, where lights twinkled like earthly stars. I think it's easy to confuse what we have with who we are, he replied thoughtfully. I made that mistake myself for a long time. Chloe turned to face him, her eyes reflecting the city lights. And now, do you still make it? The question hung between them, heavy with implicit meaning. Adam felt exposed, vulnerable, as if Chloe could see right through the layers of protection he had built over the years. I'm learning the difference, he finally answered. Thanks to you. A soft blush colored Chloe's cheeks, visible even in the terrace's soft lighting. I didn't do anything special. You did everything, Adam contradicted, turning completely to face her. You saw me when I was invisible even to myself. Not the businessman, not the millionaire. Just Adam. In the distance, the announcements began that the countdown to the new year was about to start. People began to gather on the terrace, champagne glasses in hand. Expectant faces turned to the sky. Adam placed his glass on a nearby table and in a surge of courage took Chloe's hands in his. There's something I need to say before the year ends. Her eyes widened slightly, a mix of hope and apprehension crossing her face. In the last few days, I've realized something that should have been obvious from the start, he continued, his voice low but intense. My whole life, I've built walls around myself. Protections, guarantees against disappointment and betrayal. I got so good at it that I didn't even notice when the walls became a prison. Adam, she began, but he gently interrupted her. Please let me finish or I might lose my nerve. He took a deep breath. Then you showed up with your simple dinner invitation, your apartment that smelled like cinnamon, your smile with no ulterior motives. And for the first time in years, I felt the walls tremble. Around them, the countdown began. 10, 9, 8. What I'm trying to say, Chloe, is that you've changed something in me. You woke up parts of me I thought were dormant. You made me question every certainty I've ever built. 7, 6, 5. I know the situation is complicated, that you work for me, that we've only known each other a short time, that our worlds are different. But none of that seems to matter when I'm with you. 4, 3. Chloe's eyes were shining now, and Adam couldn't tell if it was unshed tears or the reflection of the city lights. Her hands, small in his, were trembling slightly. 2, 1. Chloe Miller. I think I'm falling in love with you, Adam said, the words escaping like a sigh of relief. Happy New Year! The sky exploded in color as Adam, in a gesture that surprised even himself, leaned in and touched his lips to Chloe's. For one terrible second, she remained still, and he feared he had made an irreparable mistake. Then her delicate arms wrapped around his neck, and she returned the kiss with a sweetness that almost stopped Adam's heart. The world around them disappeared. The fireworks, the music, the celebrating people. There was only the two of them, connected by something deeper than words could express. When they finally separated, breathless, Adam rested his forehead against hers. "That was," he began, unable to find words for what he felt. "Magical," Chloe completed, a smile illuminating her face, "and terrifying." "Terrifying," he repeated, pulling back slightly to see her face. "Adam, I'm feeling something for you too," she admitted, her sincere eyes meeting his. "Something strong, something I've never felt before. But I'm scared." "Of what?" he asked, caressing her face gently. "That this isn't real," she replied, her voice almost a whisper. "That tomorrow you'll wake up and realize I'm just the maid from the mansion, that our worlds are incompatible, that this was just a moment of loneliness." The vulnerability in her voice made Adam's heart ache. He recognized not just her personal insecurities, but the very real social barriers that existed between them. Barriers that the world around them would make a point to remind them of constantly. "Look at me," he requested, gently holding her chin. "You have never been just anything to me. Since that Christmas night, you have been the most real, most authentic person I have ever met. And as for our worlds, maybe it's time we build a new one just for us." Chloe's eyes shone with unshed emotion. "How can we do that?" "I'm your employee, Adam. People will talk, they'll judge, they'll say I'm only interested in your money. Let them talk," he replied with a firmness that surprised them both. "I've never really cared what they said about me." And the relationship between them was about to take a new step, a step that would change their lives forever. "And as for being my employee," he paused, considering his words carefully, "we can solve that if that's what you want." Chloe bit her lip, undecided. "I don't want to seem opportunistic. I don't want you to think I planned this, that this is why I invited you to dinner that night." Adam couldn't hold back a small smile. "Believe me, that's the last thing I would think. You are the least calculating person I've ever met. It's what enchants me about you." She took a deep breath, seeming to make a decision. "Then, maybe we should do this right. Step by step, get to know each other truly. Not just in stolen moments at the mansion or on holidays. A real relationship," Adam agreed, feeling immense relief at her words. "That's exactly what I want. But I'll have to leave my job at your house," Chloe completed, resolute. "I can't keep working for you if we're going to try this." Adam nodded, understanding and respecting her position. "You're right, it wouldn't be appropriate. But I worry about how you'll support yourself. I know you just came to New York, that you're starting over. I'll find another job," she replied with the quiet determination he so admired. "Actually, I was thinking of looking for something in hospitality, which is what I did at my grandmother's inn. I have experience in that. Maybe I can help with some contacts," Adam offered cautiously, afraid of offending her. "Not as a favor, just introductions. The rest would be on your own merit." Chloe's smile in response was radiant. "That I would gratefully accept. Just introductions." New fireworks exploded in the sky, bathing their faces in colorful light. Adam felt a lightness he hadn't experienced in years, as if a huge weight had been lifted from his shoulders. For so long, he had lived by a rigid script. Business expansion, wealth accumulation, maintaining appearances. Now for the first time he was improvising, following not a carefully crafted plan, but what his heart dictated. "So," he said, wrapping an arm around Chloe's waist and pulling her closer. "What do we do now?" "Now," she replied, her eyes sparkling with a mix of tenderness and mischief. "I think you should kiss me again to seal our deal." Adam smiled, leaning in to grant her request. "With pleasure." This kiss was different from the first. No longer hesitant or surprised, but confident, full, a silent promise of possibilities. When they separated, they remained in an embrace, watching the fireworks that continued to light up the New York sky, heralding the beginning of something new. "Happy New Year, Adam," Chloe whispered against his chest. "The first of many together, I hope," he replied, kissing the top of her head. Hand in hand, they returned to the main ballroom, where the celebration was in full swing. A few curious glances turned their way, especially toward their intertwined hands. Victoria Davenport, from across the room, made no effort to hide her surprise and disapproval. "I think we just became the talk of the party," Adam murmured, leaning close to Chloe's ear. "Does it matter?" she asked, her eyes meeting his with a serenity that calmed him. Adam thought for a moment. His entire adult life had been shaped by concern for appearances, by what others would think, by the implications of every move for his business and reputation. But looking at the woman by his side, simple, honest, brave, he realized none of that truly mattered. "No," he replied with conviction. "It doesn't matter at all." At that moment, they saw Mark and his wife Megan approaching, both with genuine smiles. "Finally," Mark exclaimed, clapping Adam on the shoulder. "I was wondering how long it would take you to see the obvious." "The obvious?" Adam repeated, confused. "That you're completely smitten," Megan clarified, smiling warmly at Chloe. "It's been written all over your face since you walked in together." Adam felt his face heat up, but he didn't deny it. Chloe squeezed his hand gently, a silent gesture of support and complicity. "Well, welcome to the Lovebirds Club," Mark continued, raising his glass in a toast. "Life's too short to waste on things that don't really matter." The four of them toasted, and Adam noticed how Chloe seemed perfectly at ease with Mark and Megan, as if they were already old friends, as if she had always belonged in that circle. As the night went on, Adam watched Chloe interact with people, her naturalness, her intelligence, winning over even the most skeptical. She wasn't intimidated by names or fortunes. She didn't try to impress or fit in. She simply was herself. Authentic, true. And that's when Adam understood. It wasn't just him helping Chloe enter his world. She was also guiding him into a new universe, one where titles and possessions meant less than genuine smiles and honest conversations, a world where he could finally be just Adam, not the heir, not the businessman, not the lonely millionaire. 3 months later, Adam Cole was in his office when Jessica entered with a peculiar expression. "You have a visitor," she announced with an enigmatic smile. "She said she doesn't need an appointment." Adam looked up from his computer, intrigued. When Chloe walked in, his heart sped up, as it always did when he saw her. She wore a radiant smile and carried a bag in her hands. "I brought lunch," she announced, placing the bag on his desk. "I know you forget to eat when you're working." Adam stood up, rounding the desk to embrace her. "You're amazing." In the 3 months since New Year's, their lives had intertwined in ways neither had imagined. Chloe had accepted a position as an assistant manager at a boutique hotel in Midtown, a recommendation from Mark, but earned on her own merit and experience. Adam, for his part, had begun to reevaluate his priorities. He delegated more responsibilities, reduced his workload, and for the first time in years, truly began to live, not just exist. Regular dinners with friends, weekends exploring the city with Chloe, nights spent simply talking about everything and nothing. "Actually, I came to talk about something else too," Chloe said, suddenly seeming nervous. Adam guided her to the sofa in his office. "What is it? Did something happen?" "No, it's nothing bad," she hurried to clarify. "It's just, well, my lease on the yellow building is ending." "And?" he encouraged, holding her hand. "And the owner wants to sell the property. I can't afford to buy it. And the rents in the area have gone up a lot." Adam felt his heart tighten. The yellow building with the jasmine plant where it all began, where his life had completely changed. "Do you want me to help financially?" he asked, cautious. He knew how proud Chloe was, how much she valued her independence. "No," she replied quickly. "I've already thought about it. I found a smaller, more affordable apartment near my work. But before I sign anything, I wanted to talk to you about—" She hesitated, biting her lip in that way he found adorable. "About us, about how you see our future." Adam felt his heart pound. This was the conversation he had been putting off, not for lack of certainty about his feelings, but for fear of scaring her, of moving too fast. But looking at her now, he saw the same hope, the same desire reflected in her eyes. "Chloe," he began, choosing his words carefully, "these last 3 months have been the best of my life. You made me rediscover who I am beyond the business, beyond the money. You reminded me of what's truly important." She smiled, her eyes shining. "You've changed my life too, Adam. You made me feel seen, valued, not for what I can offer, but for who I am." Adam took a deep breath. It was now or never. "Then don't rent another apartment. Come live with me." Chloe's eyes widened. "Adam, that's—" "I know," he interrupted. "It's a big step. It's fast, but I feel like I've known you my whole life. Every morning I wake up without you by my side feels incomplete. Every night that ends with a goodbye kiss feels like a waste. Tears began to form in Chloe's eyes, but what about people? What will they say? That the lonely millionaire finally found someone who makes him happy, he replied, smiling. And if they don't like it, that's their problem. Chloe let out a choked laugh, the tears now flowing freely down her cheeks. Are you sure? Absolutely, he assured her, wiping her tears with his thumb. But only if you want to. No pressure, no rush. We can go at your pace. She studied him for a long moment as if searching for any sign of doubt. She found only sincerity, love, and hope. Yes, she said finally, her voice firm despite the tears. Yes, I want to. I want to wake up next to you. I want to build a life with you. I want to turn that cold mansion into a real home. Adam pulled her into a tight hug, feeling a happiness so intense it almost hurt. For years he had sought to fill the void in his life with material achievements. Now he understood that what had always been missing was exactly this. Genuine connection, true love, someone who saw him for who he really was and loved him not despite his flaws, but including them. Months turned into a year. The mansion on the Upper East Side, once a mausoleum of luxury and loneliness, came to life with Chloe's presence. She brought plants into the empty corners, photographs for the bare walls, laughter into the silent hallways. Together, they transformed the cold space into a true home. Adam, encouraged by Chloe, began to use his fortune in more meaningful ways. They established a foundation to help young entrepreneurs from small towns, especially from Virginia, honoring the memory of Chloe's grandmother. The company continued to thrive, but now Adam had perspective. He knew when to say no, when to prioritize life over work, when to simply be present. Mark often commented on the change in his partner. The old Adam was brilliant but distant. The new Adam was not only a better businessman, but a better man. One evening, 2 years after that fateful Christmas, Adam and Chloe were on the mansion's terrace, now decorated with plants and soft lights, watching the stars. "Do you ever regret it?" Adam asked suddenly. "Inviting me to dinner that night?" Chloe turned to him surprised. "Why would I regret the best decision I ever made? It changed your life completely," he observed. "You left your job, moved in here, had to deal with society, with the judgments." "Yes," she agreed, smiling. "And I gained an incredible partner, a life I love, the chance to make a difference through the foundation. I traded loneliness for love, uncertainty for partnership. It was the best trade of my life." Adam pulled a small box from his pocket. His heart was pounding, nervous as a teenager. "Chloe Miller," he began, getting down on one knee. "You came into my life when I needed it most, even without knowing it. You turned my gilded cage into a home. You taught me that true wealth isn't in what we own, but in who we love." He opened the small box, revealing a simple but elegant ring. "Will you marry me?" Tears streamed down Chloe's face as she nodded vigorously. "Yes, yes, I will." Adam placed the ring on her finger and stood up to kiss her, feeling a complete and absolute happiness. The journey that had begun with a simple invitation, "Why don't you come over for dinner?" had turned into the greatest adventure of their lives. And as they held each other under the stars, they both knew it was only the beginning. Because true love isn't a destination, but a continuous journey of discovery, growth, and the daily choice to be present, to be vulnerable, and to build something together, greater than either could ever create alone. End of story. Dear listeners, we hope Adam and Chloe's story touched your hearts and showed that sometimes the greatest gifts in life come wrapped in the simplest gestures. An invitation to dinner, a kind word, the courage to reach out to someone who seems to have everything, but in reality has nothing that truly matters. If this narrative resonated with you, if you found yourself rooting for this unlikely couple who defied social conventions and found true love, we would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Tell us, have you ever had a decisive moment like Adam and Chloe, sir? An instant where everything changed because of one brave choice? To continue this emotional journey with us, we've prepared a special playlist with equally captivating stories about love, new beginnings, and the courage to follow your heart. You can find it by clicking the link on the screen. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our stories. Leave a like if Adam and Chloe won your heart, and share this video with someone who needs to believe that it's never too late to start over. To open up, to love. Every day we bring unique stories that explore the complexity of human relationships, the challenges we face, and the beauty that exists in our imperfection. Each narrative is carefully crafted to move, inspire, and remind you that we all deserve a second chance. We all deserve to be seen. We all deserve true love. Until the next story, remember, sometimes the best changes start with the simplest gestures. An invitation, a smile, the courage to say yes when it would be easier to say no. Thank you for listening. We'll see you in the comments.